How much money every month in your bank account is what you feel comfortable with? And at what point do you say, I don't have enough money and I'm broke? Now, this is what people online are saying is their number where they start to feel uncomfortable if they don't have this amount in their checking account.
I saw a video of a girl asking people how much money they keep in their checking account before they start freaking out. And she said that her minimum balance that she never goes below is $4,000. And I'm not going to tag her. I don't even know. I've never seen her before. I'm not going to put any clips because I don't want to shit on her. This isn't like me insulting her. I am just kind of baffled. But wait, there's more, because when I get into the comments, there were multiple people, and I barely scrolled through the comments, but I must have seen at least 4 people say that they freak out if their checking account balance is under 10K. In the checking account, I'm gonna be fully honest here and say that for the past 18 months, I'm lucky if I have 3 digits in the checking account, okay?
10, I can see why she would be like, okay, 10 is a lot, but I also feel like you got $10,000 in your checking account. Why not put it somewhere where it can make you make more money? Because you're not really making money if you got 10 grand in a checking account. That money is being invested by the banks. They're taking your money if you leave it in the bank, and they're investing it to make them make more money, and they're using it for loans, etc., all these other things. Why not do it yourself? If I would have known what I know now, there is no way that I wouldn't have a brokerage account or some sort of savings.
I don't even have $10,000 to my name, okay? Hey, net worth, 6 feet under, baby. But if you're someone who has $10,000 in liquid assets, why is that not in a savings account?
Well, savings account don't really make money either. Maybe a high yield one, but you might get 4 to 6, maybe 6. And I think 6 is really good, but maybe 6. Usually they're 4.5%.
Savings account, a regular savings account, or am I totally off base? And are all of y'all just walking around out here with $4,000 to $10,000 in your checking account on the daily? What the heck?
I think if these people that she's talking to have $10,000 and they have monthly expenses that are around $10,000, then it would make sense. But anything more than that, I would just be like, why is it in there too? So I get where she's coming from, essentially just giving the bank your money to make them more money.
I just want to say, don't do this. I work in bank fraud, by the way. Don't keep this much money in your checking account. You're just asking for it to get stolen. Don't announce on the internet that you keep this much money in your checking account, because you're just asking to be targeted.
That's a good point. I haven't seen all of these clips announcing how much money you have. That is also dangerous. It's something I would not want to come on here to do. I'm like, are y'all not scared if y'all are out here saying, yeah, I got this amount of money on the internet? I think you can make a statement without telling exactly what your business is. Don't get me wrong, it's good to be able to see other people's perspectives and stuff, but fraud is real, y'all. Everybody that's watching you is not have your best interest at heart. But we in a new day and age. On TikTok, everybody wants to know, how much are you making and how do you do it and blah, blah. Y'all still got to remember that there is people out there that mean you no good.
People who are trying to commit fraud and steal your money. Debit card fraud, you can sometimes get your money back, but there are a lot of types of fraud where there is no way that the bank can get your money back. Do not keep this much money in your checking account.
But this was just one of those things that you just have to go through to understand, or you hear somebody else's story online and you don't have to go through it because maybe you're a little bit more cautious about where your money is sitting.
If you have that much money, put it somewhere where it's going to gain interest, especially maybe a separate bank from where you keep your regular funds. I understand it's annoying to have to get your funds if you want to spend them and move them back to the bank where you have your checking account. But that's the safest way to keep your money and to not lose it all to fraud. Because if somebody hacks into your online banking, it's gone. They can transfer it out. It's gone. If somebody convinces you to commit wire fraud, there's a lot of ways, like check scams. There's so much fraud out there right now, guys, and there are so few ways for banks to get your money back that you could just have a loss and lose those thousands of dollars. Do not keep them in your checking account. Please, dear God, don't keep them in your checking account.
All these people said that they freak out when their bank account gets below 10,000 or 5,000, like their checking account. Number one, can you tell me what you do for a living? Number two, if you're just letting money sit in your bank account, you could be making money on your money.
The
True.
main thing I realized that social media does is take a uncommon thing and make it seem like it's really common, because you have multiple people commenting on said thing. Not everybody has $10,000 in their bank account. Let's be real.
Yeah, he ain't lying, because most Americans don't even have $1,000 for an emergency, which I keep saying in other videos. But yes, he is absolutely right. If most people don't got $1,000 for an emergency, how the heck do they got $10,000 in their checking account? Like, we got to read between the lines, y'all. He's absolutely right. That's not a common thing.
Can't go up to 40 people and find 30 who has more than $10,000 in their bank account and just the regular part of town. You have to go to like some rich part of town to even halfway pull that off.
He said the rich part of town. It could be a normal part of town with some responsible people in it. But yeah, if you in the rich part of town, that's probably like almost everybody you talk to, because a lot of them just have financial literacy, and that's why they're rich. You know, they understand how this stuff works.
But most people are living paycheck to paycheck. And most people have a major bill happen to them today. They are broke. They
Yeah.
are damn near homeless. But even if you are rich or you got more than $10,000 in your bank account, something even still can happen and you can be just as broke just like anybody else.
Yeah, and he's absolutely right. I'm glad that he said this, because a lot of people seem to think if they just had more money, they would never face any hard times. But a lot of people who are six-figure earners, even in this country, I think the statistic was like half of them were living paycheck to paycheck, or like 46%, somewhere between there. And that's crazy, because a lot of people just think, oh, if I was making all this money, stuff would be different. It's not sometimes the money. Sometimes it's the mentality with the money. It doesn't matter how much money some people make, because they will find a way to make every dollar they have disappear. And when you start to understand that, if you really want to save money, you have to adjust your way of thinking and your spending behaviors and what you do when you get money, so you don't be one of them people.
You never know what life can do. These folks, they're just one paycheck away.
I know people who have tens of thousands of dollars in their checking account, and I know people who have a couple hundred, and I know people who have zero. And I think videos like this make people feel super behind in life because
How? Okay, maybe I need more context. I thought it was just a question, but let me see.
everybody's financial circumstances are totally different. I personally don't keep that much in my checking account, just enough in there to like cover bills and a little bit of extra. I consider my checking account more of like my day-to-day life money, but like my savings account is where I pay more attention. So if your checking account is like super low every month, especially after you pay your bills, that's like not a horrible thing.
I agree. As what are you doing with all that money in there besides somebody trying to find a way to get it? Put it in a brokerage account, maybe put it in like a high yields, like what she's saying.
As long as you have an emergency fund and a savings account so that you're not screwed,
Yeah.
that's obviously better. But yeah, I don't know anybody that's just like racking up money in a checking account that's not getting any interest onto. Like if anything, open up a high yield savings account and toss your money into that. But this to me doesn't sound very normal.
As a reminder to the people trying to get their finances together, please open a high yield savings account, because keeping $10,000 in a checking account is insane. There are so many better ways to store that money instead of leaving thousands in a checking account when you could literally be making money on your money by doing nothing. If you leave that money in a checking account or even just a normal savings account with Chase, for example, you get 0.01% in interest for the year. That's $1 for the $10,000 you put in there.
I'm glad that he's painting this picture, because this is the truth and this is laughable. Like, what is this even? You know what Chase is doing? Like I said, they're going to take your money and they are going to invest it into stocks. They're going to put it into loans, or like giving out loans and all this other stuff. I let them make money off of you, then they're going to give you like a measly dollar. Like, that's a slap in the face compared to how much money they make off of your $10,000.
Really nothing. Say instead you store that in a high yield savings account like Marcus, which earns you 5.5% a year. That's $550 that you'll get paid in interest for that same $10,000. It doesn't really matter who you choose to open one up with, because they're essentially all the same, but Capital One, Marcus, and SoFi are three good ones to look at. But regardless of who you pick, just stop procrastinating and open one up.
The last video was very informative, and he's absolutely right. The bare minimum, put it in a high yield savings account. Like, you see the options that were available. Those are some good things to explore, rather than just letting your money sit in the bank and them investing the money and making more money off of you. Put something into yourself, because this is your financial future. Don't just leave it in the bank and let let the bank get rich. Like, get some money. Start making plans for your future. We have to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.